Hare Krishna. Welcome to the episode 2 of Capture of God-Damodara Lila series, celebrating the glories of Damodara or the Kartika month. During this month, which started from October 9th and shall go on till November 8th, devotees sing a special Sanskrit song called Damodarashtaka and offer a ghee lamp to Lord Damodara. So Sri Damodarashtaka is a set of 8 shlokas glorifying Lord Damodara Lila and offering prayers to him. It is found in the Padma Purana of Vyasadeva, spoken by Satyavrata Muni. Satyavrata Muni worships Lord Damodara by remembering the pastime of the Lord and then making wishes to Lord Damodara to gift him with the same devotion which Lord Damodara gifted to Mother Yashoda and the cowherd men and women of Gokula. Today we shall discuss the Shloka 2 of Damodarashtaka. The Shloka is as follows. Rudantam muhur netra yugmam rachantam karam bhoja yugmena satanka netram muhushvasa kampa trirekhanka kantha stitagraivam damodaram bhaktivardham. The translation is as follows. Seeing his mother's stick, Damodara or Krishna cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his 2 lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his quick breathing shook the strand of pearls on his neck, which bore 3 lines like a conch shell. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound with the ropes of his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. So continuing the description of Damodara Lila, Satyavrata Muni is explaining what happened after Mother Yashoda was chasing Krishna and he was running far away from her. Finally, Mother Yashoda caught up with Krishna. And once she caught up with Krishna, what is the position of Krishna? Continuing that position of Krishna, now Satyavrata Muni is describing the reactions and the bodily and mental situation of this child Krishna. So in the Krishna book, which is the summary study of Srimad Bhagavatam's 10th canto, in the chapter 9 entitled Mother Yashoda Binds Lord Krishna, this is described very beautifully. When Krishna was caught, he was almost on the point of crying. He smeared his hands over his eyes, which are anointed with black eye cosmetics. The child saw his mother's face, while she stood over him, and his eyes became restless with fear. So Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna was unnecessarily afraid, and so for his benefit, she wanted to allay his fears. Being the topmost well-wisher of her child, Mother Yashoda thought, if this child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him. So Mother Yashoda then threw away her stick. In the first line of this second shloka of Damodarashtaka, which we are discussing today, Rudantam muhur netra yugmam rajantam karam bhoja yugmena sa atanka netram. This is what is being described. Simply by his potency, by Krishna's potency or Lord Vishnu's potency, and under his fear, Kala, time, is running. It is moving. The wind and the sun are moving under his fire. Mad bhayat bhati vatoyam mad bhayat suryaha. In Bhagavatam, it is said that Krishna says that out of my fear, the wind, the sun and the time is moving. But such a personality by whose fear everything is going on in order in nature is now crying, shedding tears as a small child. So this is the most amazing thing happening here. And here it is said he is crying in such a way, seeing the stick in Mother Yashoda's hand. Satyavrata Muni is saying Sa Atanka Netram. His Netram was with Atanka, with very fearful eyes. So the word Atanka is very interesting. Atanka means terror. Fear has different levels as well, as we know. Bhaya, Bhiti, Atanka. Bhaya and Bhiti means mild fear, moderate fear, but Atanka means terror. So you would have heard this word Atankavadi, which means terrorist. Because a terrorist can terrorize everyone. He can create Atanka. So people are terrified by just mention of this word terrorist. So here, child Krishna is said to be terrified. So what is he terrified of? By the stick in Mother Yashoda's hand. Just see. The great devatas like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also worship Lord by meditation and by service. Even the most powerful Yamaraja is afraid of Krishna. Therefore, we find in the history of Ajamila, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, when Ajamila was forbidden by Vishnudutas from being taken to Yamaloka, Yamaraja instructed Yamadutas thereafter not to ever approach the devotees, what to speak of capturing them. In other words, Yamaraj says that even he fears Krishna and Krishna's devotees as well. Yet, that same Krishna has become so dependent on Mother Yashoda that when she simply showed Krishna one stick in her hand, immediately Krishna accepted that he is an offender. He has broken the butter pot, and he began to cry like an ordinary child. So Satyavata Muni is saying, Rudantam Mohor, Krishna is crying. So in the Bhagavatam 3rd canto, Kapila Muni instructs about benefit of meditating upon smiling form of Krishna as Paramatma in his heart. The shloka is very beautiful. Hasam harer avanatakila loka tivra shokashru sagara vishoshanam atyudaram. The most benevolent smile of Lord Hari, a smile for all those who bow to him, dries away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. So bowing down to the smiling form of Krishna can dry the ocean of tears. But here we see that the same Lord, Krishna, is crying. And then further, Satyavata Muni says, Muhushwasa Kampa Trirekhanka Kanta. He was, gasping. He was breathing very heavily out of fear, due to which his neck, which was having the 3 lines like conch shell, was shaking, was trembling. He is trembling in fear and he is breathing heavily. Brahma Samhita says, Yasyaika nishvasita kala mathavalambya vayor jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata Vishnur mahan sayha yasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Mahavishnu, into whom all the innumerable universes enter and from whom all the universes come out, just by his breathing inward and outward. When he takes the breath in, all the universes go into him, all the Brahmandas go into him. When he breathes out, all the universes come out from him. That Mahavishnu is just a plenary portion, just an expansion of Krishna. So that Krishna, Govinda, who is the cause of all causes, is being worshipped by Brahma. So that source of Mahavishnu, Krishna, who can create and annihilate universe by his mere breath, is now breathing heavily in fear of Mother Yashoda's stick. So how is this possible? Mother Yashoda was always overwhelmed by intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was or how powerful he was. Because of her maternal affection, motherly affection to Krishna, she never even cared to know who Krishna is actually. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become afraid, she threw away the stick and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further mischief. So Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna. Not because she wanted to chastise him, but because she thought child is so restless. Because of fear, he might leave the house and run away. Then it would be even more disturbance. So at least to stop him from running away from the house out of fear, she decided to bind him. Now, when Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna, she brought Krishna and made him stand in front of her. She wanted to then bind Krishna. Stitagraiva Damodaram Bhakti Baddham, Satyavata Muni says. She made him stand, and he is standing in this fear, and he is getting bound by Mother Yashoda as Damodara. By what? By Bhakti. So it's very interesting to note, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no interior, no exterior, no beginning, no ending, no front, no rear. In other words, he is all pervading. He is not under the influence of element of time. He is completely transcendental. Such a personality, Mother Yashoda is considering that she is her own child, and she wants to bind him to a wooden mortar with a rope. The boundless, the limitless is to be bound by Mother Yashoda, and it is happening. How did it happen? Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita by Arjuna as Param Brahma, Param Dhama, as the greatest. The greater than the greatest, being unlimited, all pervading, is being bound or being measured. So Krishna is the time factor. He is also the space. We have measurements of time, but although we are limited by past, present and future, Krishna does not have any such things. So such a personality Mother Yashoda wants to bind. However, when Mother Yashoda was trying to bind Krishna, what happened? Very interesting to note. She brought all the ropes and tried to bind Krishna, but she found the rope was short by a distance of width of 2 fingers. Then she brought another rope to join it. Now again it was 2 fingers short. So Mother Yashoda became very, very perturbed. So these 2 fingers very significant is Krishna is Satyavata Muni is explaining. Actually, the purport says, unless I agree, which is what the first finger means, you cannot bind me, is the second finger. So when Krishna agreed, then Mother Yashoda could bind. The ropes came together and she bound Krishna. Similarly, if we think we can understand Krishna, we can capture Krishna, we can ask whatever we want from Krishna and Krishna will give, we will make Krishna our own. If we think like that, it is impossible. Except if we perform devotional service by which Krishna is satisfied. Only if Krishna agrees, we can get his devotional service. Sevon mukehi jihvadav swayameva spuratyadaha. So Krishna says, Bhagavatam says, if we perform devotional service, starting with our tongue, immediately our understanding and realization of Krishna will grow. So the service begins with jihvadav. Atak Shri Krishna Namadi Navaved Grahyam Indriyai. We cannot understand Krishna with our senses, but by service we can understand. Therefore, during this auspicious month of Kartika, let us take this determination to take up this Seva Bhava, to this service attitude, by which we can conquer the Supreme Lord, by which we can conquer the unconquerable, we can capture the God, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, using our tongue and offering Lord devotional service to Lord Damodara. When we chant the Damodarashtaka, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra with devotion, then we can attract the attention of Damodara and capture him. So this is the purport of the shloka number 2 of Damodarashtaka. We will continue with the third shloka very soon in the next episode of Capture of God-Damodara Lila series. Thank you for joining us for the episode 2 of Capture of God-Damodara Lila series. Verse number 2, the Supreme Lord is terrified. Hare Krishna.